Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. We've got a couple stories for you. Um, to be honest, there's just a lot of recycled stories going around, but we're going to get into a couple things here. One of them being the judge that has been trying to block President Trump and his administration from deporting the Aragua criminals. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. Anybody who opposes getting rid of these people within the United States is not a good person. You're evil. That being said, we've got that. We've also got there's another story coming out now. This is alleged that the same judge who is doing this is apparently he was proceeding over the email, the Hillary Clinton emails. That's interesting, and also that he will be overseeing another case that's going to be coming up. This is just it's getting wild. Apparently he's going to be proceeding over the Signals case, which is going on, and excuse me. Look, I'll just say on the onset on this. Look, people need to be held responsible. I've said it before. Whether you're Democrat, Independent, Republican, people need to be held accountable. This was a big whoopsie by the Trump administration. I think the secretary, the what is it, Mike Walls. I think he needs to step down or be fired. Accountability. That's what I think. I mean, like I said before, accountability, it's a big thing in my book, and it needs to be taken. This stuff, there has to be accountability. There has to be. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, it does not matter. Accountability is what I want to see. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, if you're in the middle. I want to see accountability because until it happens, this stuff will just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on. Anyway, that being said, we've got Jasmine Crockett all over the place, and we'll get into that too. I don't like her. I have personal opinions for that. Um, I don't like her as a person. I don't like her as a representative. I think she's an evil person, and I'll let you know why. But first of all, we're just gonna get into this. Like I said, TDA, the Venezuelan gang. If you're not, I'll say it again. If you're not okay with getting rid of these people within the United States, you oppose deporting these people and putting them into a prison, you've got other issues that you need to deal with. These are not good people. They've committed heinous, heinous crimes against American citizens. And if you're not okay with them being deported, then you're just evil or stupid or misinformed. Got to be one of them. Anyway, we'll get into this. This is from the Post Millennial. And I know a lot of people say, oh, why do you use them so much? Because I think they're credible and they don't sugarcoat anything. Anyway, let's get into this one. 64% of voters back Trump's plans to deport Aragua gang members. Half favor impeachment of for federal judge trying to block. I don't know about, I mean, I think that he's an activist more than he is a judge. So I'd be fine with him being, you know, impeached, as it were, having him get off the bench because I think he's more of an activist. I mean, his wife and his daughter are both wrapped up in all kinds of different scandals as well. You can look into that. But anyway, we'll get into this one. This is one of those 80-20 issues, okay? The vast majority of Americans are okay with getting rid of these gang members. Me being one of them. I'm not okay with them being in this country. And I'll say it one more time. If you're part of the majority, or not majority, but if you're part of that small minority that is okay with leaving these kinds of people within the US, you're an evil person. Or you're just stupid or misinformed. If you're misinformed, I mean, it's not hard to do a little bit of research. Just do it. Just do a little bit of 5 minutes. 5 minutes of Google searching. I'm not a fan of Google, but that's all you got to do. Anyway, let's see. Roughly 2/3 of voters support President Donald Trump's efforts to deport members of the violent Venezuelan gang, TDA, while nearly half favor impeaching the judge who blocked the deportations, according to a new Rasmussen report survey. Look, we all know the story about, look, the plane was already over international waters. Now they're saying President Trump was in the wrong for not turning the plane around after the judge told him to have it turned around. Look, This judge is an evil person. He is openly saying that these people should stay within the United States. I'm not okay with it. I'm not. They're evil people. They need to go away. That's how I think. That's all there is to it. I don't want these kinds of people within the United States. I don't want them in our neighborhoods. I don't want them potentially assaulting and hurting women, which they've been known to do. It's one of their MOs. But anyway, the poll found that 60% of likely voters backed the Trump administration policy, with 47% saying they strongly support it. Among Republicans, support is overwhelming at 89%, while 64% of unaffiliated voters and 43% of Democrats at least somewhat support efforts to deport Venezuelan gang members. Again, deportation thing was a big proponent of his campaign. He campaigned on it hard, saying that he was going to get rid of all these illegal. When President Biden and VP Harris opened the floodgates at our southern border and all these waves of illegals came into our country, he said he was going to take care of this issue. It's what he's trying to do. But think about it this way. This was I can't remember. I didn't come up with this. This was a point that somebody else made. I can't remember if it was Jeremy on the Cording or Tim Pool or Crowder. I can't remember which one said it, but I just say that this was not me. This is just a talking point that somebody else came up with. And I was like, holy crap, that's a good point. Think about it this way. President Trump is negotiating with Putin about peace talks with Ukraine. If a judge can come out and say, nope, I overrule that, you can't do that, President, why would Putin even bother talking with President Trump? He's going to look at this and say, look, you're getting overruled by a judge on a lot of your stuff. What assurances do I have that what you say is going to actually happen, because you're being overruled by a judge that is nowhere even close to being presidency? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. This judge should not have that authority. Look, if anything, this judge, while these deportations are actually taking place, he cannot stop it. He cannot change it. He has to go through the legal process, send it up through the court, and all the while, these deportations are still happening. But he has to send it through the court process to try and say that this is wrong, or however you feel, whatever you think. But as I said before, it's a losing issue for Democrats, but hey, they just keep pulling this crap, even though it's a losing issue for them, amongst other things. I'm just saying. Anyway, I digress. After taking office, Trump designated the TDA as a foreign terrorist organization, rightfully so, and attempted to use the Alien Enemies Act to deport its members living in the U.S. illegally. However, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg issued an injunction halting the deportations. Since then, calls for Boasberg's impeachment among Republicans have grown, and a large percent of voters seem to agree. 49% of voters support his removal, according to the survey of 1,106 likely voters conducted March 17th through 19th. Look, again, I'll say, I wouldn't mind seeing this guy go away. In my opinion, it seems to me like he's not a judge, he's an activist. And we don't need people like that on the bench. It's plain and simple. Somebody like this guy who is an activist, he's not a judge, should not hold power like this. That's all there is to it. I don't believe that this guy can just come out and say, I supersede the president. I supersede the head of the executive branch. I can supersede his decisions. That's not how this works. I don't believe so. You can debate me. You can comment below if you disagree with me. I'll let you know my thoughts. Anyway, Trump has called for Boasberg's impeachment, calling him a radical left lunatic of a judge and an agitator. Okay. I just think he's an activist, and he's going to go against anything that President Trump does, much like the Democrat Party often does. I mean, anyway, we'll go and this next one from Post Millennial again, and we'll take a look at this one. Appeals court blocks Trump's further deportation of gang members to El Salvador prison. Why? Again, why? If you want these people in our country, then you are evil. You're not a good person. Shouldn't hold any kind of power. Anyway. The Alien Enemies Act to swiftly deport suspected Venezuelan gang members. Judge James Boasberg earlier in March issued a temporary restraining order blocking the Trump administration from making such deportations. Per Fox News, Bill Mulligan. Melugan? Anyway, the order blocks the Trump administration from carrying out any more deportations under the act. I don't know. See, I'm not like a huge legal person. I can't tell you whether this is actually legit. I couldn't tell you if he can actually do it. I don't know for sure. I would love to say that I don't think he can do it, but I don't know. Anyway, breaking, a federal appeals court has denied the Trump administration's request to block Judge Boasberg's order on deportations of suspected Venezuelan gang members. Why? It's an honest question. Somebody let me know why that this holds up. And why would you want these people to remain within the United States? It's an honest question. Why? It's a losing issue for Democrats, but they keep going after it. It's an 80-20 issue. As I've said, they are losing their base. But if this is the game they want to play, then fine, whatever. The D.C. Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 against the Trump administration per CNN. The administration is expected to appeal the Supreme Court. The ruling issued on Wednesday was unsigned. Obama appointed Judge Patricia Millett and George H.W. Bush appointed Judge Karen Henderson issued opinions explaining their argument with the court's decision. Henderson wrote that the following Trump to use the law risks exiling plaintiffs to a land that is not their country of origin, where they could face torture in prisons. If they're here illegally and they're part of this gang, why is it a problem to send them there? Explain it to me better. I don't understand. If they're part of that gang and they're here illegally, why not send them to that prison? I don't care. I don't want them in this country. Again, I'll say it again. I don't want these people in the streets of the United States where they can do potential harm to American citizens. I don't want them here. Anyway, Henderson wrote, indeed, at oral argument before this court, the government, in no uncertain terms, conveyed that where the injunction lifted, it would immediately begin deporting plaintiffs without notice. Plaintiffs alleged that the government has renditioned innocent foreign nationals in its pursuit against TDA. For example, one plaintiff alleges that he suffered brutal torture with electric shocks and suffocation for demonstrating against the Venezuelan regime. Well, look, is this going to be perfect? No, I don't think that it will be. But I'm okay. Look, the people that are part of this gang, it's not like they're just taking random people off the streets and assigning them to saying that they're in this gang. There's got to be some kind of proof for them to say, look, this guy was part of TDA. He's being deported and sent to prison in a foreign country. They're not just willy-nilly taking people off the streets. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that they've got evidence backing the fact that these people are within that gang, and I think that they're well within their rights to take them off of American streets and put them in a prison. Anyway, let's see. We're going to go ahead and we'll see. Look at this. Now, this is the judge who initially started this chaos. This is from Nick's order on X. Judge Boasberg, the activist judge blocking Trump from deporting violent gang members, intentionally delayed the release of Hillary Clinton's emails until after the 2016 election. He's also now coincidentally presiding over the Signal case. Why? How did this guy get assigned to preside over this case of the Signal issue? I understand. Look, I didn't cover it that well, and a lot of people told me, "Look, you didn't cover that story very well." Yeah, I know, because there was still a lot of information coming out of it about it when I did cover it, and there's been a lot of coverage. A lot of people have covered it a lot better than I did, so I haven't covered it that much since then. But I think that people should be held accountable. I I think Mike Walls should either step down and be fired. Trump already come out and said that he's not going to be fired, and Hegseth and you know uh, Tulsi Gabbard, they've come out saying that there was actually no confidential information that was within those text messages. But that being said, I said people should be held accountable. Right, left, center, I don't care. Accountability is what I want to see within this administration, and if accountability needs to be held within this administration, then I want to see that as well. Left, right, center, I don't care. Accountability. I'm very, very big proponent of it. And I think people should be held responsible. Okay, it was a mistake. Maybe. I understand that. But actions have consequences. Even if it is a mistake, you can step down and say, look, this was my fault. I'm going to take responsibility. I'll step down. Done. I'd be fine with that. Accountability. Take personal accountability. But anyway, and I'll say one more thing too about this. Jeff Goldberg, the reporter who supposedly got on this thread of text messages on Signal, where's the accountability from this guy? For one, this guy has went wild with all kinds of hoax stories, Russia, the good people on both sides story. He's had a couple others. But where was his account? Why? As soon as he saw these text messages, he should have been like, "Look, I don't know why I'm in. I'm not sure why I'm in this thread, this text messaging, party, whatever you want to call it. But I'm gonna go ahead and just dismiss myself from this party." Where was his accountability? Because he doesn't have no ethics. That's why. And he wanted to get. And like I said, I didn't see anything that would be damning as far as evidence against the attacks against the Houthis. But that's just my opinion. I didn't see anything that I'd be like, oh my crap, I can't believe that was in there. Anyway, I digress, and I'm gonna go back to this. Why is this guy presiding over the Signal case? I'm gonna tell you why. Because the Democrats, look, this is in DC. The Democrats still run DC. President Trump's in office, yes, but DC as a city, the Democrats still maintain that stronghold, and they're gonna appoint who they want. And they see that this guy has come out against Trump, and so they've put him in charge of this. You can tell me all you want about, oh, well, these judges are randomly selected and blah 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 blah. Okay, you can tell me that till you're blue in the face. I don't believe that this guy was randomly selected to preside over this case. I don't believe it, not for a second. Anyway, now we'll go ahead and just move on to Jasmine Crockett. And I'll tell you right now, on the onset of this, I don't like this woman. I do not like her. I think she's evil. I think she's mean. That being said, her little Hot Wheels comment about Governor Abbott, I don't care. It doesn't offend me. I'm not sensitive enough to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. That's terrible. Okay, yeah, it was a bad thing to say about a guy that's bound to a wheelchair. But hey, freedom of speech. Sticks and stones. That used to be a thing. If she wants to come out, she's got free speech. If she wants to make a joke about a guy in a wheelchair, she's got that right to do it. People may not like it, but that's part of free speech. If people come out and say racist comments, you may not like it, but that's free speech. It sucks sometimes, I know, but you take the good with the bad. Free speech is a good thing. And, like I said, you take the good with the bad. Anyway, I don't like her because of the fact of she calls for violence against people, namely Ted Cruz, Tesla. She openly said that she wants Tesla to be taken down for her birthday. Now, she may have not come out openly and said commit acts of violence against Tesla, but we all know what she meant. Her birthday's on the 29th, and she wants to see Tesla taken down. We all know what that means. Anyway, we'll get into this one. This is her little Hot Wheels comment. And again, I'll say again, I don't care. I don't. She got free speech. This was, I don't know if it was intended as a joke, but she has the right to say it. It's not an active call of violence, yada, 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 but she's got the right to say it. I don't care. Anyway, we'll take a look at this.
And because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey, y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Again, maybe it was meant to be a joke. I didn't think it was funny, but I don't care. Doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that I think she's fake and she's an evil person and she calls for acts of violence against people. Anyway, this was her statement that she put out after her little comment about the Hot Wheels thing. So we'll take a look at this. I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he used to transfer migrants into communities led by black mayors, deliberately stoking tensions and fear among the most vulnerable. That's not what she was. This is my opinion. I think this is an outright lie. She's coming out trying to save herself because she said something stupid. She has the right to say it. I think it was meant to be a joke, not funny. But she's got the right to say it. And this is her just trying to cover her ass. Which, you know what? I don't. Whatever. She's got the right to do that. Anyway, literally, the next line I said was that he was a hot bleep mess, referencing his terrible policies. At no point did I mention or allude to his condition. So I'm not more appalled that the very people who unequivocally support Trump, a man known for radically insensitive nicknames and mocking those with disabilities, are now outraged. Again, I'll say it again. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. This is America. We have the freedom of speech. The problem I have with her is I think she's fake. I think she's evil. And she's just another political left nut job who calls for violence against the right. You can debate me on that. There's all kinds of things that I could allude to. Maxine Waters, make a crowd, make them uncomfortable. These people advocate for violence all the time. Summer of Love, 2020. The vice president actively alluded to let people know where they could go to fund. She didn't do it personally. I'll give you that. But she deliberately on several occasions pointed out the website that you can go and help people post bond who got arrested during the riots of 2020. It's not the Summer of Love. It wasn't peaceful protests. It was violent riots all summer long. The autonomous zone that was in Seattle that was literally taken over by some low rapper dude. I don't even remember his name because I don't listen to rap, but that's just I don't like rap. But anyway, I digress too much. Anyway, these people advocate for violence at every single turn. And again, this is why I don't like this woman, because she is fake and she is evil. This is just look at this is just something. Take a look at this one. This is her. She uses a fake accent. I know a lot of people have probably already seen this, but I'm going to show it again. This is her before she took office, and then her after she got into office. She uses a fake accent. Why? To appeal to her demographic. I guess Democrats have been known to do this all the time. I mean, when Trump was campaigning, the vice president campaigning, she used fake accents all the time. It got called out when she was campaigning for presidency. Anyway, just another thing that the left uses to placate their base. Anyway, she's fake. Take a look.
No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need. Because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey, Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Now, maybe I'm wrong. There's that possibility. I'm not gonna say that I'm completely right on this. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe she actually did pick up an accent. And this is the way she talks now. I highly doubt it though. I just don't see because the left has been proven to use this time and time and time again. Again, I don't dislike this woman because of what she said about Governor Abbott. I don't care. Freedom of speech is a thing, and she can say what she wants. I dislike her because she's fake, and she's an advocate for calling for violence against the right. Don't believe me? This is another thing. Take a look at this. This is her actively calling. Now, you can say she didn't call for violence against Tesla. Yes, she did. We all know what this is. This is her calling for violence against Tesla. Her birthday quote, all I want for my birthday is Tesla to be taken down. We all know what that means. You can't try and say that she's not calling. We all know what it means. Anyway, here you go.
I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes, I'll make sure.
I mean, again, I'll say it again. You can say she's not calling for violence. But we all know what she means. We all know what this means. Anyway, this is her again, saying that Ted Cruz needs to be hit over the head hard. This is an active call of violence. Accountability. Again, I'll say it again. They say what they want. They do what they want because they know there's no consequences to their actions. They know they're not going to be held responsible. Until they do, they're going to keep doing it over and over and over. Take a look. Again, this is an active call to violence.
And I think towards the end, he started to punch a little harder. But, like, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right? Like, there is no niceties with him. Like, at all. Like, you go clean off on him, right? I think that you punch.
They have it. There you go. Tell me I'm wrong. This woman is evil. And then she grandstands on the House floor, screaming and hooting and hollering. It's not the first time. There's many more examples I could point to. I'm just not going to waste everybody's time throwing everything out there. Now, she is facing a lawsuit. She is being sued by Laura Loomer and her company, the Loomer Report, or Loomer Unleashed, I think it was actually. Yeah, I think it was Loomer Unleashed. Anyway, she had a reporter, Laura Loomer had a reporter that was trying to ask Jasmine Crockett some questions. Jasmine didn't like the questions. She pushed the phone. I don't know if she hit the guy or just hit his phone when he was recording her. I don't know. I can't tell you. Do I think that this is justification for a lawsuit, being sued for assault? I'm not sure. I don't know. Possibly. Me, in my personal opinion, I don't think it was that bad. I think, to me, it looks like she's just pushing the phone out the way. Now, maybe they could sue her for destruction of property if he dropped the phone and it broke. I could see that. But assault, I think it's kind of loose, maybe. But hey, at least they're actually doing something. Republican House, Senate. At least they're actually doing something. They're trying to hold her accountable for something. Again, accountability. Again, they're going to keep doing whatever they want because they know that there's no consequences for their actions. Take a look at this. Again, at least they're doing something. Republicans. Anyway, here we go.
Hello, Congresswoman.
Horse manure. Well, that sounds like fun.
Wait, Congresswoman Crockett.
But it sounds...
Congresswoman Crockett, you were recently on a Tesla takedown call calling for violence on the 29th. Would you like to clarify your comments?
As you can see.
Congresswoman, will you condone violence at the Tesla?
There you go. Again, you can let me know what you think. I didn't see anything in there that would actually, condone assault, I guess. Like I said, if she broke the phone, I could see them maybe having a case for, destruction of property. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that they have it doesn't, to me, now, I'm just saying, it doesn't look like they have much of a case for assault. Maybe destruction of property if there was some damage to the phone or his or the camcorder, whatever he was using to record. I don't know. You can let me know. I don't see a whole lot there. But again, I'll say this again. At least they're doing something. Republicans, Pam Bondi comes out all the time saying that these people are going to be held accountable. I have yet to see it. Pam Bondi, in my opinion, has been a huge letdown. I've yet to see her do anything except for come on Fox News and spout talking points for the right. Accountability, there is none. For anybody within Congress, politics, look, accountability, again, they're going to keep doing it because they get away with it. At least Loomer Unleashed is actually doing something. It starts with just one. You get that one person to actually stand up and do something. Maybe, hopefully, we'll start to see others come up and start to, maybe hold their ground and start taking action against these far left extreme people. Republicans don't seem to do it, so, maybe private citizens are going to be the people that actually take action and do something. Because it sure as hell isn't the government at this point. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Appreciate you hanging out through my ramblings. I know I do it a lot. But I enjoy just complaining about this stuff, and hey, I might as well do it into a camera. Again, I appreciate you hanging out. It means a lot to me. If you made it this far, hey, follow me. Follow me on Rumble. That's the place to be. You can subscribe to me on YouTube if you want to. But I don't know why you're over there. Rumble's the spot. That's where it's happening. Anyway, you can also follow me on X at @ThePoliticalRay. And again, I appreciate everybody hanging out. I hope you have a good day, and God bless.